Yo, what's going on, guys? Teachers here, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing another coaching session. I am working with the same guy from the original video, turning a noob into a pro in 1 hour. So I hope that you guys that have been following along with the series can start to see the improvement of this player. We have started to work more on in-game and tournament-related topics, which you'll see me talk a lot about in this video. I'm kind of giving him a general look at what it will look like to play in his first Cash Cup and the strategies that he's going to need to utilize in order to be successful within that event. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if this helped you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, a nice little one pump. And of course, that medallion is just so valuable in this instance. So what you guys are going to be seeing here is going to be a clip from an in-game that Sphinx played during the last Solo Victory Cash Cup Opens. So through the mid-game, Sphinx was keying a good bit. As you can see, he has 10 kills. So we're really just breaking down exactly what to do throughout the end game in order to be successful. Alright, so he gets another max distance zone pull here. The zone actually keeps pulling the same direction that 8 zone pulled, so it's going to pull into the dead side, right? So here, what he really should be doing, he's going to want to go on kind of like a, more of like a... No, he's going to want to go on kind of like a mid timing, right? Because if he goes out in front of everyone, or if nobody else is rotating, like he's coming all the way from backside, like more than likely he's going to get sprayed at and focused. And then if he's the only one on the front side of the zone there, like the entire lobby will just look at him while zone's not moving, right? So you don't want to go too early here. Like going early here is actually a mistake, because then you end up putting yourself in a position where you're the only person and you just get sprayed at.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, exactly. Like what just happened to him. But he goes close enough to when everyone else has to start rotating that they can only spray at him for a second, right? So like waiting there, being patient, and then getting frontside, like was like the way that he did that was a good play. When I'm saying like if you go early, I mean like if you go on like an instant rotate, right? Because then the entire lobby has like 30 seconds to just dead stare at you. So he can trade away a little bit of the damage that he took there, because he still got the like for the better position, right? So that's like that play right there was worth it. But even doing what he did, you could see what I was talking about. Now imagine the lobby had more time to stare at him.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Right.
Okay. Is it
and then
like
from
intended that he doesn't put a cone in his box?
Yeah, he's trying to save mats here.
Okay.
And he's not like instant edit. Like if he was going to instant edit on somebody like coming across his wall or something like that, or trying to fight him, then he would put the cone in his box. Able to pick up a really free, easy kill there. I was going to say, I think he's a little bit outside his zone, so he's got to finish this rotate here.
Yeah.
Got a little dangerous there for a second.
Yep.
He's created separation, made some space. Don't know if I'm necessarily the biggest fan of popping the medkit right there, because now he's fully backside, and usually when you grapple from full backside, you're just gonna get held and focused. But he is like, he's basically on second height here. Yeah, I mean, he's second height here, so like he just has to de-elevate towards the lobby and he'll be fine. Interesting, he didn't even get looked at there. So generally in solos, I don't like to stagger fully to backside. It is a little bit different. Like he's in 10th zone here. But as a general rule of thumb, especially through like 8th, 9th zone, don't like to be fully backside because it's way too easy for you to get held in grappler meta because everyone just goes front. And it's so easy to get front side. So he's down to 200 builds now. And he's only wood. So he's going to be playing pretty hard for another refresh here. Simply because he has to. So, you know, you're playing 200 builds, you have just wood, finish the rotate, get in, and then you can kind of play hard for a refresh, utilize the extra time that you have in order to look for something. You can see him kind of looking all around him for a refresh there, finally catches a player just like completely unaware, like stuck on his wall. Unfortunately, this guy takes pretty much everything from him, but the other kid really only had siphon mats. Good job kind of identifying the hole there. He can't elevate here because he doesn't have enough mats to, right? He's got to continue to play low ground to try to find and rat old builds. Yeah. So that he can keep himself covered and protected while he looks for that next refresh that'll help him win the game.
Did he end up winning?
Yeah, he actually does end up winning this game. This is a 15 kill win. So works his way kind of all the way to front side, again, getting into the zone before he starts looking for something. And now he's just looking back so that he can try to control people, like, so he can try to hold people as they come in. I think he heard that kid go down, but he takes a look and he can't see the loot, so he's not going to go for it. That's kind of like a downside of playing on performance mode. If you're on like DX11 or DX12, you can actually like, you have much better visibility through builds.
I think on AMD processor, if I'm not wrong, it's better to play on DX12, like for performance.
Yeah, I mean it might be like DirectX 12 and stuff was built specifically to run on like the newer generation of architecture for the CPUs and GPUs.
Yeah.
So I really like this play out of Sphinx here. No builds, but he's got 3 medkits, right? So like the entire goal, survive as long as you can, right? So he is not dying with, you know, extra meds in his inventory here, right? So he has another viable play that isn't just, oh, I gotta fight someone and go for a refresh, right? So he's gonna tank zone, play those medkits, allow the lobby to kind of like thin itself out, and then once he sees an opportunity and an opening to go in, he's gonna go for it, right? So you see this kid kind of like playing like the full edge, going in. Everyone's kind of going in on each other now. And he's able to just kind of wrap from behind and find like a small opening. And now he wants to play really hard to get into this kid's box. He's able to pick up the kill there. We don't get to see because of the lag, but you know, that refresh basically got him game-winning mats here. Now he's got 30 builds, and I bet if we check around the lobby, like the only other person that's going to have any type of decent mats is going to be this kid on height, and he's already down to wood. So yeah, he's got 5 builds. 0 builds on Cole because he just died, and then you got 6 builds on I'm Santa Claus. He's going to pick up the siphon there. So he'll have close to what Sphinx has here, but Sphinx has a better position because he got his refresh earlier. Now he's on the front side of zone, so he's actually in front of this other kid. He can just play to claim territory because the zone is so small here. And then eventually this guy will just be on his wall, and he'll be able to make an insta edit and probably kill him. Another thing you have to keep in mind too, once you're this late in the game, a lot of times people are one shot to your shotgun, because, you know, they've been fighting the entire game. Usually at this point, the healthiest person in the lobby is going to be the person that's on height. Oh my god, massive pump. Good shot. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so kid drops on his wall, gets over aggressive, and he was very healthy, but Sphinx just hits a real nice shot to kind of like clean that game up. So, due to the way that Sphinx was playing the mid game, I wanted to watch somebody else with Sobsh to be able to break down what perfect Fortnite looks like. So, I went into the tournament compete tab, I looked at a couple different players, looked over their game wins, and I saw somebody who had a 4-kill win. His name was Twitch Havoc, and I've seen him on the leaderboards here and there. But I wanted to go ahead and take a look over this 4-kill win that he got in opens. He also did end up winning opens in this tournament, so I felt like this would be a really good example for Sobsh to watch so that he could start to see what perfect Fortnite looks like. I mean, the only thing is, and there's actually a lot of Like, he clearly does not know about this lake and this house down here, because there's like the same amount of loot that you get off of the spawn area, you actually get an additional like 5 or 6 chests between this house and the lake. So that was the way I kind of set up the split, right? Because just like he got good loot, don't get me wrong, like I'll spawn, but I mean he could have had even better loot in my opinion. But it looks like he doesn't. His goal here is actually to go for the mythic, right? So he's actually just looking to get a loadout that he can fight with, and then he's gonna try to lurk on the boss fight over here at Lavish. So kills the kid, trying to go for the boss. Now he's got this mythic drum, and you're gonna see just how kind of like busted this shit is. It is. Doesn't even need his AR at this point, yeah. Well, he's not playing. Like, you're gonna keep him. Like, you're gonna see a notable difference between the way that this kid plays and the way that Sphinx plays, right? Because Sphinx, a lot of the pros, like the shared mentality, and you have to remember too, like they've, once you get to a point in this game where you've played for hundreds of thousands of dollars and you've earned hundreds of thousands of dollars just from playing the game, something like a solo cash cup or a solo victory cup is not as stressful for you, right? Because you don't feel the need, you don't feel the need to prove yourself, right?
Yeah,
So like you're not really like channeling that energy anymore. Whereas somebody like this kid, he probably makes like he's probably a very good player. Obviously, like if he's doing well in opens, and then is probably earning on a consistent basis from the solo cash cups, but maybe he hasn't made grands, or maybe he has made grands and he gets bottom 25, right, or bottom 10, right? So he still has that desire of like, oh, I have to try hard, like I have to prove myself so I can keep getting like good teammates and continue to become better. But you can see like his entire goal, and this is probably closer to the way that you're going to be playing as well. His entire goal is basically just to survive the entire game. Not take too many risks. So he gets as close to center as is actually safe for him to do. So, and then you can see kind of the zone pulls to the opposite side of zone. Like he's not perfectly center, right? So he's got a decently far rotate, but he goes instantly here, which is a good call on his part because he's not like buried. Like he has a pretty high like rotation priority, so he's going to be able to go in much earlier than a lot of other people. So he goes ahead and takes advantage of that opportunity. I would like to see, I mean, he's not being greedy at all, right? Like he's not greeding for positioning. I wouldn't always disagree with the call to go like more towards center and to try to play the dead side here just to get a little refarm going. But I mean, he's only missing 9 builds, so it's like still pretty healthy. He doesn't need to. Gets a really good zone pull here. He pulls right on the edge, so he's just gonna continue to sit in his box. Alright, so you get some max distance zone here, but you can see kind of that left side was a little bit more dead. I'll go back a little bit, see if that's... Yeah, so zone pulls into the dead side again here. So like 8 zone continues to pull, like it pulls away from him, pulls like to that northeastern side. Just gonna pull into dead side here, and he's actually, so he's not fully on the edge, right? Like that's kind of what allows him to go. There's nobody in front of him that directly that can kind of hold him here, so he can just go get ahead early. And then he, instead of allowing this zone, which in my opinion, once he gets to he should have chosen a side to play for. And then once he gets to that, like, and it would have been the left side, right? Because like there's a giant mountain on his right. So you probably don't want to work up that. Plus a bunch of people are already like positioned there. But on this left side, there's not a whole lot of people like positioned there. So you could get to this like outside edge of 8 zone, sit there, hold people coming from behind you to keep them from getting outside of you. And then you control like this entire outside lane and you can get deep into zone. right? Like you can position yourself on the dead side or like towards the center of zone, which obviously like is going to give you a better position, right? Because if the zone continues to pull, if it pulls north, if it pulls south, if it pulls east, right, you're going to be ahead of everyone, or you're going to have a dead side to rotate on, which gives you a higher priority than the other players in the lobby. And pulls south. So it does end up pulling back to him on this edge, which is like the one zone pull where like this makes this like a good call, right? But I still don't necessarily agree with it, because if he was, like, it kind of pulls away from dead side and it's moving diagonally too. So it's kind of going to open into the congestion here. But still, even if he was in that position, like it's still like a good spot to be in. Because you can still utilize the dead side for the same things that you do on 6th and 7th, where you're kind of like, you play into it and you refarm and do that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So here, the first moving, he does a really good job of playing like on an elevated layer, so he can't be challenged, and like so that you don't get buried, right? Because when you get buried with the grappler, and we talked about this when you were doing scrims, like when you're constantly just playing low ground, low ground, low ground, you can get a bad zone pull that goes away from you that causes you to get buried underneath people, and then you can't use your grappler, right? And then you have to burn extra mats. So like when you are playing with that grappler, it's better to be on a high layer. So just in. Also, something that he's doing really well on this rotate is playing to more to like a side of zone. He's not fully on side of zone here, which I would have liked to see him completely claim kind of like that right side. He's more towards like the center of zone, but he continues to kind of like, as he's moving in, because the zone is moving diagonally, like he continues to move towards that right side. So that rotate was really, really nice out of him. So now, yeah, going now into 11 zone, claims front side low, gets a really nice refresh right there, then continues to play up. I actually don't fully understand the decision to go front side low right there, but it's fine. Now from here, this is kind of what we saw like at the beginning, right? This is him breaking, like kind of just doing the same thing that Sphinx did in that last game. You know, we're final zone. We are still healthy on mats. But if we want to try to guarantee ourselves the win here, we can basically just utilize the safety of zone. We have 6 medkits. We can go all the way to storm sickness. And we just kind of lurk back here, waiting for an opportunity to, waiting for the lobby to kill each other out, or waiting for an opportunity to kind of go in there and get a couple of free easy kills. Instead, he plays, because he's playing behind height here, he sees height drop, which allows him to kind of take height. And again, you know, height, especially in solos, if you can take height late, always you should take it.
He just wins like this.
Yeah, because it's the best position in the lobby. So last week, Sobsh and I started working on scrimmages. I started having him practice. I'm doing a little bit of live coaching and helping him identify his mistakes. So what you guys are going to see in the next clip is actually the death from the first game in scrims and my diagnosis of that, and then another conceptual lesson that followed after, so we could continue to practice throughout the rest of the session. What's really important here too, guys, is the conversation between coach and player. He's very receptive to what I have to say, while also asking questions if he doesn't understand anything, right? So this is something that is extremely important and extremely valuable to the coaching process. If you guys don't understand something from my end as a coach, you have to ask me to clarify. Because if I don't understand that you don't understand, then I can't explain the concept to you.
If the guy has a grappler, should I just go for him?
No, don't like put yourself in a bad, like, you don't need to fight for it yet. Like, you need to like play the game like we were just talking about, like that the CJ kid was playing. You'll find kills if you position on edge zone, like low ground, like on the half and half and the moving zones.
Also, like there's like this you can do, but like sometimes just.
So,
I mean,
so
it's way easier with bricks than with wood.
No, the issue is if you have a cone in your box or not. If you don't have a cone in your box, you can't edit that wall. If you do, you can. Just hold. Nice. Get out. You need to make space. He took that wall. He has really good ping. You need to get out and make space. Yeah, it's... I mean, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Should I...
That's why mechanics are important, man. You got to be able to expand and, like, you got to be able to flip that cone. As you're kind of walking out of the box there, too, like, he's going to try to spray you. You have to anticipate that. You got to hold your stair. Like, once you flip that cone, it's already going to be in a stair shape. So, like, you should be at the point on the stair where, like, if you're holding it and looking down, you won't phase it. And you just hold the stair as you walk out of the box. And then you just make more space around you. And then if you start getting sprayed from, like, other portions of the lobby, then you need to build off from that part of the lobby and probably de-elevate. That's an issue with fighting, like, when you're higher up, like, and then, like, in a zone like this, too. Like, you're gonna get sprayed from the rest of the lobby once they see what's going on.
Should I just pick fate?
You don't have to. Back out. I can kind of show you what it looks like to expand as well.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, it's just a 2x2.
So this is something that you can do, like, when you're getting pressured, right? And if you build out and expand into these two boxes and then, like, reach around, you can place that third one and very, like, quickly, like, build a 2x2.
And you have some walls in between, not these walls, but, like, you know, peanut butter peaks, right? Good, safe peaks. You don't have to have them all edited. You can have it, like, oh my god, you can have it like this, right?
I've known about this technique for over a
Snail
year.
is a 2x2, and then it doesn't matter the direction you're going. You just go backwards, right? Like, first time is you always go backwards. It could be here, and you go backwards. You could be in this box, like, backwards. You could be, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, we'll use this box now. You just go backwards and you connect two, and you can see how easy this is to just be on this tile and make two, right? You can see this is a very simple mechanic to do. And then you're doing it again. You're box fighting. Now you have another 2x2, right? Imagine we close this off. You also have this space. So, like, you know, this guy's, let's say he's chasing you down this part of the build. You can come all the way here, pump him, come here, pump him, and he's dead, like 100%. Let's say, you know, you're in a 1v2 and you're still getting pressured. Then you go backwards again, right? Connecting it again. So now it's another 2x2. You see? It's connected again. And then, like, if you go backwards again, it's not going to be, like, it's too much space. So just go up. Like, of course, I'm not putting cones here, but you need to have walls and cones and all of this. And now you have this entire thing. And this is the snail complete. There's no more than this. This is the snail. So we'll build it kind of quick, but as you can see, like, if you build one box and you stand kind of on this tile here, you can kind of just reach all the boxes pretty easy, right? You see how simple that was? And then same thing with, like, building more space here. You're kind of just reaching all of it by building it, like, kind of chilling, like, literally, like, moving like this. That's all it is, just slightly moving around. Instead of having to do, like, I've seen people build like this. Like, you don't want to do this. This is not the snail. Like, that is how you get predicted, and the player, you know, he's up here and he goes like this and then like this. Like, you don't want to do this. This is not the snail. Like, that is how you get predicted, and the player, you know, he's up here and he goes like this and then
Do you see why that's different, by the way?
this. Like, you don't want to do this.
Because he's just basically, like, full boxing. He's basically telling the other person where he's going to go. Like, building the walls in between, because it cuts you off, right? You're not... The reason why that doesn't work is because you're not at, like, the full extent of, like, where your builds can reach just by crosshair placement.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Alright guys, so that was a session that I did with Sobsh. I hope you guys learned a lot from this video today. That was pretty much everything that we went over in the session. I just tried to reduce it down so it was a manageable video for you guys to watch. But once again, if you guys learned something from this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, help my channel grow. And I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.